Alrighty, hello everybody. Here we are. I'm here with my good friend, the Sunshine Ouija. I am in the States. This is our new little flagship broadcast of a little show that we are going to be doing here. We intend to do this every weekend. We're hopefully going to be doing this roughly every Sunday morning. Well, if you're in the U.S., every Sunday morning, similar to this. Maybe a little sooner than this usually. We had a lot going on this weekend. Anyways, getting away from that.
All right, so
what we're going to be doing here on our channel is really this particular channel is going to be very, very lighthearted. It's just going to be, we're going to be taking news stories that we find funny in, and we're going to be sharing some of the, those news stories with you guys and making some fun and having some fun with those stories. And that's what we're going to be doing here. Just to give a little bit of a break from all the seriousness and everything like that, but somewhere to laugh, somewhere to have a little bit of fun. And we're going to go ahead and use some of the popular news stories to do that. So in that spirit, I can tell you today, I've got two things today that I brought to show you guys that we're going to talk with you about that have some funny aspects. One of them is regarding a whistleblower who was on quiz shows, like TV quiz shows back in the 1950s. Back before Congress got involved and had to actually regulate TV game shows to make sure that they weren't crooked. And so he was one of the original whistleblowers for those shows. He passed away. So we have a story in here about him that will have some amusing aspects to it. The final story that we're going to have for you today is regarding the NBA and where it's planning to play out the rest of the season. This season that got obviously cut short because of COVID-19, where they're going to be playing that out, and there may be some funny there. And then Sharon, of course, brought one story that I'm gonna go ahead and let her give you a little bit of an introduction and let her go ahead and tell you a little bit about our new channel.
Yeah. Hi everybody. You know me, I'm like, when I'm here, I'm like, hi everybody. Well, yeah, our new channel, it's going to be amazing because we're just going to have fun. Like we've said, it's going to be stories from all over the place, not just like America or Scotland, whereas normally we would maybe, stick to one place or other. But definitely it's more to try and be more lighthearted and just get a bit of fun there, But the story that I've brought it's one that makes me laugh, and it's one that unfortunately I can't really tell you guys too much about because that would give it away, but you might just recognise something that someone's about to say in the clip when we get to it. And if you don't recognise it, shame on you, and get out there and get yourself watching this programme.
Absolutely. So I mean, obviously there's a lot of funny out there, and obviously most of you know how much the Scots love taking the piss. So that's another side of this little show. I guess before we get into it, we could talk a little bit about how this came to be, right? We can talk a little bit about Moscow.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So those of you who know, I have another channel. Obviously I'm in these States here, but that doesn't mean I'm not still Erekose, as some of you will know.
Well, you put Erekose up on your screen here.
You in these States as Erekose's last name. So you gotta once you get your head around that, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Over on my other channel, Erekose on Doctor Who, you guys know we did, Sharon and I did a video. It was last weekend. No, sorry, the weekend before.
Yeah.
Weekend before, where we happen to love this YouTuber, We Scottish Lass, Moscow Moon, and she had done a really funny video about dating apps and how people advertise themselves on them, and anyways, it was brilliant. And so we ended up doing a video talking about all the things she was pointing out. We were trying to find her a man. In fact, we'll probably go ahead and grab that video and we'll upload it here on this channel for you guys.
Yeah, I was going to do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it was a lot of fun, and we had a blast. Even Moscow watched it, and trust me,
she loved it.
Yeah, that was something, because that video was almost 20 minutes, folks.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, that's over Moscow's line You know, usually
Yes.
if that video's over 10 minutes, you're probably
we get swiped.
Probably swiping left on you. Forget it. Anyways, no, but yeah, but she actually watched it and she actually enjoyed it, and she had a suggestion for us that we should start a podcast, is what she said. Well, we took that as, well, I guess she's trying to say we have faces for radio. So
yes, I know. I know. So we're gonna be defiant. We're defiant.
So we're gonna show her. We're gonna be on YouTube, damn it.
Yeah.
And then we are probably gonna take the audio from these YouTube broadcasts and upload them.
I'm not sure what I've got on, just in case she is watching. I don't know
butter
if you can
knife.
see it. My butter knife earrings. That's for Moscow. So you know, because I'm a stabby Ouija.
The stabby capital, yes. Of course.
But mine are butter knives. So.
Yes. So you know, obviously, you know, she was suggesting that we do a podcast. So, you know, what I was saying is we are going to broadcast here. This is going to be the main place, obviously. And for those of you who are listening to this later on a podcast, if you want to see anything that's happening that you're hearing explained, you can. You just have to come over and find us on YouTube. And, you know, but we're going to be doing it as both for those type of people that listen to podcasts during the day as they're cleaning and doing whatever. Then we're going to have it as both. And if people absolutely are listening and have to see what we're talking about, they will always have that option, because here we are. So
I come for the eye candy.
Right, there you go. Yeah. We're dead.
I mean, on your t-shirt, you need to show them your t-shirt, because no one's seen that in this channel. Yeah. Don't fear the Ouija.
Here, so yeah.
Look, see, sassy. He's shimmying it
there. All right. So, all right. I think we can go ahead and move into our first story here today, about Herbert Stemple.
You want me to go?
There we go. All right. So this is an article from Friday's LA Times about Mr. Stemple. Now, he was like it says here, he was a TV show, quiz show whistleblower. So back in the 50s, he was on a show called 21 Questions. He went up against a guy named Van Doren, and Charles Van Doren, and he lost on the show, but he ended up coming out later and telling people, you know, that he had actually, it was all staged for him to throw the whole thing and for Van Doren to win and that sort of stuff. And he wasn't believed immediately, but then shortly thereafter, other stories started coming out about, you know. So the funny thing is obviously, folks, you're looking at the picture of this gentleman right there, and maybe the words "great American hero" don't really come to mind when you're looking at Mr. Stemple, you know, in that picture. But
it looks like he's about to slap you. It looks like he's about to give you a backhand, you know.
With that big old ring on, you know, you probably take out a tooth with it.
See, that must be the Scottish. That must be the Scottish. You know, if it's not stabbing, it's slapping. You know,
right? Yeah. So he may not, you know, obviously he may not be what everybody's, you know, vision of a great American hero might be, but it's, I think, pretty interesting what he was part of as a whistleblower. He actually, because of him and a few others, it got Congress involved in preventing these crooked quiz shows from being able to do what they were doing. So it basically got Congress involved. So Congress passed legislation that made it illegal for these TV shows to operate, so that TV shows then had to become, you know, quiz shows and game shows and stuff had to become legitimate. The contest had to be legitimate. So, I mean, despite of the way he looks, he actually, you know, did quite a service by telling his story back in the 1950s and getting rid of those crooked television shows. So, but one of the funny things down here that we thought also was funny in this article is it gets to talking about Mr. Van Doren and Mr. Stemple here. And it gets to one point where it talks about the winner, Mr. Van Doren, who obviously you see Mr. Stemple here has the dark hair, glasses, thin, kind of, a slighter frame, you might say. Not a big guy. Whereas Mr. Van Doren was like apparently Mr. Adonis, blonde hair, fairly, big build, and they refer to him here, which is funny, but they refer to him in the article here as TV's own health restoring antidote to Elvis the Pelvis Presley.
Antidote.
The antidote, because hey, look, back in the 50s, there was half of the country going crazy over Elvis, gyrating his pelvis on TV, and there was the other half.
That guy's an antidote.
By it, So.
Oh dear.
So.
We're the one for the money.
Yeah. Right. So obviously that was funny about this article. Anyways, Stemple was, maybe wasn't everybody's idea of a great American hero, but I would say that due to his whistleblowing and that of a few others, it created some honesty on our TV quiz shows, which is good. I think. Good. Yeah. So keeping people honest kind of needs to happen nowadays, obviously. For those that are following the more mainstream news at the moment, but we're not going to get into that here. Next thing we're going to get into, though, is Sharon's article that she brought here.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get this tiny little play button down here. All right, folks. So here we go. This is a clip of an Irish, MP or politician.
Yeah. He's running rings around the other ones, let's say.
Running rings,
yeah.
Rings.
Yeah.
I like it. All right.
He's a minister. He's not a lord or anything like that. In case you maybe thought he had a title, some sort of grand title,
All right. So here we go.
In the end, it's only a passing thing, the shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come, and when the sun shines, it will shine out all the clearer.
It's only a passing thing.
Yeah.
Even darkness must pass, but a new day will come, and when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer.
So did everybody recognize that the lines when the Irish MP was saying them?
I'm gonna give it to Chandler. Really? What? I am.
See, that's the funny bits when things go wrong. Yeah. Did anybody, William? Did you recognise it?
No, I'm gonna have my clips all ready made together in a video that I'll just play. That way, I won't have those problems.
Yeah. Well, that's it. This is just a reintroduction, and we're just getting used to a different flow because you're such a pro on your other channel, and not that I'm saying you're not a pro here, but it's a different thing when you're trying to put up wee clips and different things. So, but that was a pretty cracking one, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
For the crack, as they say in Ireland, for the crack.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone's for the crack. But imagine doing Lord of the Rings.
When I was first listening to it, I was like listening to it, and I'm like, yeah, wait, I don't recognize him. I'm like, Samwise Gamgee. So before I even got to the end of the clip, it was like, anyway.
It's so funny. I wonder if anyone else recognised it. Do you know what I mean? Remember that they were just going, oh yeah, he's really inspirational, him. Oh, that I really like that Irish minister. Oh, he brings a tear to my eye,
Right.
Well,
so that's another thing we may be finding, folks, for you is other politicians potentially that are quoting movies. We know obviously we can get Nigel Farage quoting Independence Day, so we can always find that one for everybody.
And I believe Theresa May, the former Prime Minister here, had quoted something as well. I think there's been quite a few.
Right. So
which is really funny.
We can get some people, some politicians and stuff quoting movies similar to that there. But I thought that was really funny because, I mean, obviously with the current things that are going on, particularly in America, that speech kind of, you know, has some meaning nowadays in the current climate, obviously with what happened with George Floyd. So I mean, so it was clever for that politician, I think, maybe in that sense, to use that, and so that was actually pretty cool. But you know, we'll look for more politicians quoting movies and stuff. So that, you know, just whatever we get a kick out of. So that's going to bring us to our final story here, folks. I need to reinitialize my screen share here real quick.
Reinitialize, I like that. William will like that as well. Oh, he has to reinitialize, William. Engaging.
All right. Now the Ouija has to add it. There we go. All right.
And the Ouija's done it. Like that.
So this final story we have, folks, I thought was really funny because I was going through the LA Times, went through the sports section and saw this. They're going to Disney World. Yeah, you know, because, you know, well, just because.
Like, who doesn't want to do that?
The 90s know that whenever a quarterback won the Super Bowl or the star NBA player of the winning team of the NBA Finals, everybody was always going to Disneyland, and then it was Disney World and everything. So when I saw this, I thought it was pretty funny. They're all going to Disney World. So what this has to do with, folks, is the NBA is looking to finish out the rest of the season.
Yeah.
That was interrupted by COVID-19. And so they're looking to finish out that season. So what they're going to do is they're going to go down to Disney World, to like Epcot Center, to a facility they have down there, obviously, where they can, it's not going to be spectators. It's just going to be the teams playing, and obviously televised, I would imagine, so that everybody can watch. But it won't be people in the stands, obviously. And I imagine they chose Disney World because they would get a big, huge auditorium center where they could actually have the athletes practicing social distancing, right? So, anyway, so to me, it was hilarious. They're going to Disney World, right? It's like, it's like, you know, they must have heard that like Mickey was spoiling to try out for the NBA, right? I heard Mickey's got hang time, dude. Like, you know, like he could dunk. You know, but what I heard is the biggest trouble they were having, though, is that getting Mickey to meet the social distancing and standards and stuff, because they were having trouble getting masks that could fit around those big old ears, right? So, anyway,
what about poor Minnie? Is she not getting a shot?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure where the WNBA is playing, but you know, maybe, I don't know if maybe she can't even the world after. I don't. Maybe, so.
She won't even be able to watch from the sidelines, you know? She was sitting there like, poor wee Minnie.
Hopefully everybody's going to Disney World, right? You know what I mean? I'm going to Disney World.
Wally World.
So the funny, for me, that was just the funny thing about this, to see that headline, they're going to Disney World. And like I said, what it is, folks, is they're just looking to finish out the NBA season. As you guys can see down here, this is the Western Conference standings, the Eastern Conference standings. What they're doing is they're going to take the top 8 teams in each conference, and they're going to have a playoffs. Yeah. And there's one little caveat, being that if the number 9, if there's obviously you can see there's more here, because there's about 3 or 4 teams that are within 4 games of Memphis here, who in the number 8 spot. And so any team that's within 4 games of the number 8 team, they can potentially have a play-in where they could actually, if they can beat the number 8 team twice, they can take the number 8 team's place. So that's what they're doing with the NBA, little playoff they're planning. All but one of the teams agreed to this. It was pretty much unanimous except for one team. So anyways, that's what's going on. So this might be interesting, and we'll continue to follow it, and I'll see if I can get any more Mickey jokes out of the NBA going to Disney World. So, but yeah, so there you go. And for those NBA fans out there who love basketball, that's good news for you guys, because I know the NBA finals are a huge deal for people. So.
I used to love playing basketball. That was one of the things I liked to do. I was always like, I could dribble and all that. I was like, I just dribble my iron brew.
So that is our final story. go ahead and we'll take down the screen share.
Yeah.
Actually, you could probably switch it to full screen, or well, either way.
Oh, yeah. I'll put it back on and then switch it to full.
Yeah, go ahead and put it back on, switch it to full screen.
Yeah.
And then take it down. That'll just be on our way out.
Yeah, sure.
So,
like how we.
That is going to pretty much be our flagship broadcast here, folks. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to probably be doing more preparation, obviously, in the future, and maybe doing a couple more stories. Try to maybe do at least 5 stories each week, and trying to, and looking for the funny and looking for, some humor out there.
Especially at this time with COVID and everything that's going on, just try and, brighten it up.
Mainstream story.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything you want to say to everybody before we go, Sharon?
Mission. Well, no, I hope everyone's enjoyed it. And Indy, I'm going to call you that instead of Erekose. Indy. Actually, you should say why I've called you Indie States.
What?
We should actually. You should actually tell people why I've called you Indie States. I just thought of that there.
But that requires mentioning the subject that dare not speak its name.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right.
So maybe
forgot about that.
Maybe we have to wait and explain that to our viewers after COVID-19.
Yes, that's
right. Then we'll be authorized to explain it.
Well, it was content that was hot off the press that you've all missed, that you don't need to wait for the you'll have to keep watching so you get to know. Because it's a doozy. Oh dear. But no, I'm just glad that we're on doing this because it's a lot of fun, and I hope everyone enjoys it, and anybody that's got funny stories as well, feel free to any of my pals that know me, send them over, and because it's we usually all share the same stuff anyway, and there might be something that we've missed.
Capaldi over here at some point.
Yeah,
we have some things to say and some stories to share.
Yeah.
So we'll probably be incorporating people in our community of people that we associate with, so you guys can
for some good times.
So on that note, I will just remind everybody as we head out here to make sure you find a good source for your COVID-19 news. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Can I have the next slide, please? Can I have the next slide, please? Can we have the next slide, please? Can I have the next slide, please? Next slide, please.
There you go.
It's just too funny, that, isn't it?
There we go.
I was trying not to laugh all the way through that, but
yep.
So
that was supposed to be the end of the show, but here we are again, folks.
Here we are, just about to, I know I'm just going to click the end button, but I just wanted to say cheerio everybody, thanks a lot again for all watching, and hope you enjoyed the end there. Next slide please. Next slide is us leaving, so catch you all later.
If you haven't already, please hit subscribe.
Yes, please hit subscribe.